You're so funny. You're so funny.
Bravo 654. Bravo 654.
Shit.
Affirmative, you have me out on the top. Affirmative, you are on. Copy. 1443. But she's telling me that Varian Shippen, about 18, 19-year-old male, is the one who was shooting.
All right. This is Mike Martin. I'm back for Live on Patrol Mondays with Mike, and I'm actually just stopping at the emergency room outside Regions Hospital where a vehicle just showed up that was involved in a shooting a short time ago. So I'm just going to make sure that they are good and don't need assistance here. And then I'll come back in.
West Squad, I took care of the crash there on the way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 1444.
The caller said that their vehicle was just misplaced. They were able to find the vehicle. You can be clear. 4490, were you calling? Traffic 1445. Traffic 1445. You're now check grades, Maryland.
Let me see if I can get this turned down now. I don't know what's... Let me see if I can get this turned down now. I don't know what's... There we go. Well, just as I was getting ready to get in the car, a shooting came out on the east side of St. Paul, and where the described suspect was a female in a blue Ford, and the that Ford pulled into the emergency room at the hospital, claiming to have been maced by somebody. And now they're just waiting for the officers that were at the original scene to come over and talk to these folks and hopefully figure out what the heck's going on.
Just blue red light eastbound Concordia from Snelling about.
Copies. November Bravo 658 flag SRS small time.
Sounds like the CAT team's now either pursuing or trying to catch up to a black Cadillac that just blew a light and is headed eastbound on Concordia. So
We're going to be assisting address 2 blocks away. Get your location.
it's a stolen out of the city of Wayzata, which is a western suburb here. So I'm gonna try to get over closer to where they are without jeopardizing public safety here. Get over here.
Stolen Caddy SRX. Hang on here. Get eyes on it. It is north of Magnolia. Pursuing it is really fast.
That car passed us going the other way on the highway, just probably as we were getting on. So
was that a stolen November Bravo Hotel 658? It's going to be located in the east. Westminster and Magnolia going northbound. Westminster at a fast speed.
So we're going to turn around and try to take the highway up and catch up. Pat Scott is trying to catch up to the vehicle now. I don't know if the original location was wrong or if he really was driving that fast, but we're going to try to get that way once again, keeping public safety
I
in
do
mind.
not have eyes on it, and it's nowhere in sight right now. It's occupied by 26. This theft actually occurred in Minneapolis. If you could kind of tell us how to set that how that over the
So we're going to get on 94 here and then go up 35E and get off in the area where Deputy Pat Scott has spotted that vehicle. And
insane recklessness.
Members of the CAT team are over there right now, and Pat's saying that they're driving recklessly. What are you doing? To keep behind that, we don't want to hurt someone trying to.
SRX. It is a small black SUV.
We don't want to apprehend anyone else. I'm sorry, we don't want to injure anyone while we're trying to apprehend somebody.
It's kind of in medium condition.
So Pat's, if you hear the radio cutting out, it's because they're on another channel right now that
2755. If you were holding the area to clear it, just pull the squad. Yep.
They're on another channel that cuts out. We're on the primary channel for the district that we're in over here, so that we can talk to the other squads that don't have the radio channel that we have, to talk to each other. And what'll happen is if something happens, they see the vehicle again, they'll go back to the regular channel so that all the squads can hear where they are. But it's been a crazy early afternoon here, and with stolen vehicles, kids leaving alternative schools and going to other schools to try to confront other kids, you name it. Those calls are coming out today, and the squads here in St. Paul and in the suburbs are running from call to call, and you know, that's not always high priority calls, but today it is.
Autumn and rolls on outside accident hit and run, colors, public works, when their equipment pieces got ran into at some point today.
So that's why we kind of got off to a quick start here today, and I had some stuff I had to do. For those of you who haven't seen our program before,
I do have a couple of medical overdose.
You are in Ramsey County, Minnesota, home of the capital city, St. Paul, and Sheriff Bob Fletcher is the elected sheriff in our county. And about 2 years ago, he started doing live programs to show people what we actually do every day, what the deputies do, and hopefully educate people on how complex this work is and the things that we do for the community. Sheriff Fletcher and Deputy Pat Scott are normally out every Friday doing live on patrol starting at 9/11. On Mondays, you get me, Undersheriff Mike Martin, and I do Mondays with Mike. Sometimes I have guests riding with me, and sometimes I don't. Today, all my potential passengers ran out the door when things started hitting the fan. So, but they're out and about, and we'll probably run into them.
Cancel 4 auto.
Right now, we are looking for a black Cadillac STX that was stolen out of the city of Wayzata. And let me pull over here and see if we have any more intel. It was last seen in this area. It's a 2012 black Cadillac SRX. Nora Boy Henry 658. And boy, it really was driving that fast. Initially, Kyle Williams, one of our CAT team deputies, saw it over on the west side of St. Paul. Pat Scott picked it up over here on the east side, and we'll see if we can't find it in the area. Hold on just a second. I'm trying to catch up on all the texts I've been getting. Alrighty. We are on Westminster on the east side of St. Paul. And we will be we're driving north at Cottage right now and see if we can't find this car. There's a couple addresses up here where we often will find stolen vehicles, so I'll be checking those. But it may have just been flying through the neighborhood in an attempt to get out of off our radar. this parking lot up here in this apartment. We have local seeing if the cops needed assistance on the vehicle that was involved in the shooting earlier, to pursuing and looking for a stolen vehicle that's now lost, and who knows what'll happen next. We're on Mississippi Street now at Hoyt, on the east side. Anyway, I started introducing myself. I'm Undersheriff Mike Martin. I have been a police officer for 32 years now. I think this is my 33rd year. I retired from the Minneapolis Police Department, where I rose to the level of inspector, running the 4th precinct for 5 years, and had the pleasure of running the gang unit, and at different points, gangs, homicide, narcotics, intel, and
My apologies. I'm still in
had a great career. I retired when a new chief came in and wanted to put in her own command staff, and went to work at the University of Minnesota for a few years doing emergency planning, emergency preparedness, threat assessments, security stuff, and Bob Fletcher was elected to be the sheriff, to come back as sheriff in 2018, and he asked me to come and assist him by running the Regional Services Division, or actually, which has been recently retitled the Apprehension Division for the Sheriff's Office, which includes all the investigations, intelligence, the violent crime enforcement team, the CAT team, or carjacking and auto theft team, the mobile field force, and the SWAT team, and all the stuff that I actually really love to do. So as part of that, we try to get out and show you some of the work that we do every day. And what I should have done was gone live in the middle of the night last night, because we got a SWAT call out at just after midnight this morning, and a domestic had occurred. A male had come home from work, it sounds like, was intoxicated, depressed and upset, and fired off some rounds inside of his house, and after having a dispute with his wife, and then the wife and the brother-in-law that were there were able to get out of the house, and the North St. Paul Police Department tried diligently for over an hour to get him to come out and give up safely, and when they couldn't get any response from him, they called the SWAT team, and so we were there till about 3:30 in the morning, when work from the negotiators and the tactical officers on the scene were able to get him to come out and surrender and resolve the call in a safe manner. So always excellent to resolve a matter like that where shots have been fired and someone's armed and suffering an obvious mental illness crisis, and eventually get to the point where we can get them to come to their senses and come out and surrender safely and no one gets hurt. And we're lucky to have a very professional, well-trained SWAT team that is made up of members from the sheriff's office and our suburban agencies, and that combines a tactical component with our negotiators who try to resolve the matter through diplomacy and minimize the amount of force that we have to show or use. So this went extremely well. If you want to see a good example of when it didn't go well, I just watched the mini-series on Netflix about Waco, and you can see what happens when the negotiators and the tactical folks don't communicate well or agree on how to resolve a situation. So my job is to keep everyone on the same page and make decisions when it's time at critical points within a SWAT call out like that or a deployment. Was fortunate last night to have Chief Phil Babenroth from North St. Paul there in the command post with me, as well as Commander Ryan O'Neill from our agency, Sabrina Gretz, who helps us keep everything in order, and the two sergeants from the county and North St. Paul that originally responded to the scene.
Central Squad to start for an assault 1000 Albemarle.
So now we're on the east side of St. Paul on Maryland, and we will we'll still be looking for that black Cadillac SRX. We have a number of other vehicles that are on our radar that have been involved or taken in carjackings. That we're also looking for: a red and tan Jeep Liberty, a white Ford Explorer, a gray Toyota Camry, and a black, Camry. The black Kia was not involved in a carjacking, but obviously those are a higher priority for us, the carjackings, than just an auto theft where they took the car and it wasn't occupied.
371.
Good.
You could show myself a 307, clear advised, and if you could put me back out on training.
Okay.
We're eastbound on Maryland at Cypress.
$2265. You change this to a medical and then clear all SWAT assist. 343 Tango. Right. Put a long number in the call.
So that SWAT situation resolved at about 3:30 in the morning this morning, and then I was lucky enough to go home and get a little bit of sleep before my phone started ringing on other stuff. But some of the texts from today about stuff at Lexington and Randolph. There was a male who appeared to have an assault rifle under his black trench coat. I believe the officers responded to that and determined it wasn't a rifle. We had the shots fired involving the blue
5909
Ford that we saw at the emergency room.
Transporting adult female from Walmart to OAC, starting as 3.
Someone called in that there was someone with a gun on a bus at Hamlin and University a while ago, and I didn't hear how that one was resolved because we were out busy. But it's been those are just a few of the calls that have gone out today.
Mile marker 353.
Right now, I saw someone asked about the weather. It's about 46 and cloudy. Well, I'll go with partly sunny. Mostly cloudy, but some sun trying to peek through. It's actually not bad at all out.
Copy.
I'm wearing a very thin long sleeve t-shirt, just enough to keep the wind off my arms.
147.
But I'm too chicken to wear short sleeve yet.
8394.
It's been a busy week, or the last week or so.
2120 Silver Lake Road Northwest, Dollar Tree for assault. White male with hood physically assaulting a white female with red hair in the parking lot. Both by a gray PT Cruiser type vehicle with the hood up. Male is hitting female with his hands.
We're to go north on Hazelwood from Maryland. You heard that's in the city of New Brighton. There's an assault, a male hitting a female. We're very far away from that, so we won't be responding.
2474.
Copy, somebody stop that, ma'am.
Copy the LSC at 1511 and 8297, 8394. Perhaps too far away to get plate a vehicle that has.
Pull over here first. Part of the problem with scanning all these channels is you catch little pieces of interesting stuff. And I heard we're going to be attempting a stop.
Accident with injuries, 2971 to 3003 Mountain View Boulevard. Two vehicles off the road. Requesting having 15. Copy 5280.
It allows me to see where all the calls are that are assigned or pending. The comments for how long and that kind of stuff. So
5 are around home. 2442 Rice for suspicious group of 4 juvies that were inside a Hyundai Elantra. Ran when cop approached them. 3 Hispanic males, 1 Hispanic female. 3 are in the field just east of the trailer park. The vehicle is Mike David Tango 437 and 2011 Hyundai BRZ. The door of the vehicle is still ajar. Cop will be waiting next to it.
So we're a little ways away from that. We'll kind of head towards that. The male's hanging around the suspicious car.
Copy 4 out on Los Capital, 1550.
Although, like I said, we're pretty far away from it.
People are thinking they'll be out.
But if they do get in the car and flee, then at least we'll be in the area. You said it was a Hyundai. That's a very a common brand to be stolen, along with the Kias. So, but they ran the license plate and it didn't come back stolen. That may just hasn't been discovered yet or reported as stolen. I want to give a special shout out to my friends that came, Daniel and Anna from Sweden, who brought me a gift from another backseater in Sweden, a beautiful little horse.
137 animal will be reported.
Statue, and they tracked me down over the weekend. We might have to hire them to be detectives, but it's fun to have from Sweden. I don't names of they have names, but I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And it was fun to see some backseaters over the weekend too at the John Pardee show at the Myth. Ran into some backseaters who said hi.
8296 right.
It's always fun to talk to people that watch and that are dedicated to what we do, because
Go ahead.
The whole idea is to
We're still out here, 1015
educate
York.
people,
Why don't you
show
send us
them
1025 York. We'll take care of that at the same time.
is to show people what we're doing and how we make decisions.
Lexus at 3000 Highway 61 on assist. The caller needs a VIN inspection for a vehicle.
Okay.
1560.
So the cat guys want me to put out that about the black Cadillac SRX, but we already did that, but I'll repeat the info from Sergeant Mike Servatka. We're looking for the black Cadillac 2012 black Cadillac SRX, Nora Boy Henry 658. If you see that vehicle, call 911. Don't try to stop it or anything like that, and we will come in and get it, or St. Paul will, or whoever, depending on where we are. I mentioned the Myth. The Myth is a nightclub in the city of Maplewood that our deputies work at to provide security. And there was a country show there this weekend with 4 different country acts, with the headliner being John Pardee, and I had the pleasure of being there, and along with a couple of our other undersheriffs were there as well, attending the show, and got to meet some cool backseaters there, take some pictures.
The RP on this call.
Copy. Westminster Island. 3755 vehicle description.
Front older Honda CRV, Minnesota, Kilo, Sierra 969, I believe.
Just passed a state trooper
Keep
car.
eyes on it as long as possible. That'd be great.
Minnesota by far has the coolest state trooper cars in the country, and I would argue some of the coolest troopers. And they do a tremendous job. Obviously, they're mainly on the highway. But they will come in and back up city or county officers or deputies in the city if needed, especially in the more rural areas. And they have a tough job.
So you're approaching Maryland, you're southbound?
Southbound Westminster coming up to Maryland.
So that's cars calling out that they're southbound on Westminster coming up to Maryland. We are on Maryland.
Roll around it again, please. Green.
And 510, we're stopping for stop signs here, Maryland and Westminster.
2752. Okay. 2752, I'm 2 hours behind the West.
2007's a block away.
Block 510, they did went through Maryland here.
Still southbound through.
Your incident has been updated.
Your incident has been updated.
He's probably
So I'm not really sure what the
Okay, I think that might be in here on the way.
Your incident has been updated. Your incident has been updated.
No, he's going just fine. Something's not working on the location.
He's got an Edgerton, good stick
Your
to just the main
incident has been
Edgerton.
updated.
So we're trying to catch up to a stolen vehicle here.
Going on the next block, I believe, for southbound.
Your incident has been updated.
He's going, he's going now. They're bailing out, Alright. I think I have eyes on driver here. Gonna be running northbound on
Your
Bradley.
incident has been updated.
Tom Bradley on foot.
Asian male, black sweatshirt, white t-shirt, jeans. He's cutting back west. He's carrying a bag. He's carrying a backpack. Just to my north for the perimeter. Sorry about that. And then south right there where the spot is. Lock it down right here, guys.
Your incident has been updated. Your incident has been updated.
I got Cheshire Minnesota,
Your
2755.
incident has been updated.
Bradley to the east, 12 Bird to the west. Right here, this block, right here, Pat, stop. And then check on 510. What's your status?
Your incident has been updated. Your incident has been updated.
Spot 5. Did not get across Burr or across Jessamine. Secured front door.
Get the unsecured front door on the
Your
alarm on
incident
the
has
first
been
half.
updated.
510's on 2. He's got the driver Here.
Your incident has been updated.
180. 2752. All civilians by the stolen vehicle are reporting telephone. 629-1093, Bradley, for 510, grab the driver.
Your incident has been updated. Your incident has been updated.
Yeah. A description of the other party? You could have jumped for. $24.74 arriving and clearing the call at 1524.
Yep, you got a drink clearing home. 1524.
5909 arrived at LEC. I think it's 12.
What's the last guy wearing? Outstanding male.
$510. I think go ahead. Description of the other party. Well, I have no idea. As an Asian male, I'm more focused on the driver, so he ran southbound from exactly where the vehicle stopped. No description other than Asian male ran southbound. Did the driver still have that bag he was carrying? He had a black pen bag here.
Your incident has been updated.
We holding the perimeter for the outstanding passenger.
So they are sitting in the athletic fields between the. So I want to keep. So I'm going to talk to the witnesses up there by the stolen vehicle and see if I can get a description from them. Happy, hold it for now.
And I'm Route 1049 Bradley with the Asian male wearing all gray. The green shoes.
Your incident has been updated.
Male can't see. You'll see them. They're sitting on the bench in the center. Shoes.
Green. 2752 is going to go talk to the witness.
Copy. And then see if they were involved and possibly make arrests. The only thing I'm looking at is just access into the field. I don't think we can. Well, we might be able to drive a vehicle in, but we'll have to go from there.
Your incident has been updated.
Go for it.
Your incident has been updated.
Copy that 7257.
I know I saw him bail and go around that way.
Tango.
I looked at this guy, and this guy's
Sit down,
watching,
Tango.
and I could tell.
Phone call request reference juvenile harassment. This guy just kind of thwarted it and they took off, so we have a definite motor vehicle tamper. 1527. $2020 arrived and clear. 1527. $343 Tango, we're out at 1049 Bradley with the county SWAT. Okay. At 1527. 2752, our witnesses are unable to provide a good description of our passenger. Copy, witnesses unable to give a description. Second trip.
Your incident has been updated.
Last I get an alarm sound behind you. I couldn't hear you.
8292 clear squad report. 3 at 1528.
Your incident has been updated.
Juvenile south, pointing towards the building.
8296.
Near the sunrise.
96. 558 Old Highway 8 Northwest at Budget Auto Repair. V was taken over the weekend. A tow truck to customer's Hyundai Elantra. Unknown plate.
All right,
Customer's
well,
on the scene.
that's how it works
2025
when we work together. Hold on just a second. Suspect, the driver's in custody. 34-year-old male. Says he's got warrants too.
425 Road.
He has some narcotics on him.
17-year-old female, conscious breathing, fainted. 1529.
I'm just gonna wait here for a minute while they search the briefcase that he had. But St. Paul did a good job of spotting the stolen, and the stolen fled, and the
Your incident has been updated.
St. Paul officer was right behind the driver, and the driver ran up into a yard, and then I came into the yard next to it and was able to cut him off as he came through, and then the St. Paul officer was able to grab him and bring him down to the ground where we could get him cuffed. So he complained a little bit that he was out of breath. I said, dude, you're 40 years younger than I am. Actually, he's not. He's good 20 years younger than I am, though. Hold on just a minute.
Stage 3 St. Louis, in the area.
1530.
$44.58. There's a couple Maple Squids that
Your
can assist
incident
from
has
a
been
suspicious
updated.
in the area of 1870 Mary Knoll Avenue. It says 4 juveniles just dumped a Cadillac SUV, ran toward
2430.
2430.
In service reserve, badge number 938. Can assist with P.
1531.
All right, so St. Paul's gonna take him down and book him,
Yeah,
and
there's 4 black male teenagers wearing all black, wearing
Your
face
incident
masks.
has
One of them
been
had a
updated.
red hoodie on.
identify him. In other words, make sure that the identity we got from him is correct. He had a briefcase with him when he ran that had narcotics in it, had some other stolen items, couple wallets with different IDs in them, so I'm guessing he's been breaking into cars. But typical big marks to St. Paul PD for their efforts, and to get this guy in custody. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and
418.
only had to run about, I don't know,
I'll be clear the
50 yards, which is about the limit of my cardiovascular ability at sprint speed. So it worked out
Copies will
well.
be taking all the patches. I'll tuck one.
And I'm bad. As he came around the corner, that school bus that was on the corner was not letting out kids, or we would have had to terminate it right away, but it might have been too late because it was coming on the side street there. Quick switch over to our common channel for the cat team and just check on everybody. So we got the driver. His name was Touvue, Touvue, 34-year-old male. He had narcotics on him, and it sounds like he's got warrants as well.
Same goes for the passenger. I never got an ID on him or anything, but St. Paul coppers advised me he's got a motor vehicle tampering warrant, and he had suspected narcotics on him as well.
Excellent. Yeah, that was good timing.
Yeah, they can't confirm there's a passenger, right? But based off his body language and what he was doing, I'd have to imagine he was. He was trying to get in the door at 10:49. It was locked, and then he was just kind of putzing around, trying to get in the shed, the garage. So.
I wonder if one of the other IDs that they found matches the passenger.
To the suspects. Kevin.
Your incident has been updated.
27:59.
Regarding that Wakefield Park, the driver I saw about an hour ago now was wearing a white face mask that was not a surgical mask and had some kind of design on the front of it.
Yeah, the driver of this one's going to have a white face mask with a design on the front.
Your incident has been updated.
5231.
Can you show me out with 2263?
Sorry, I'm not
Your incident has been updated.
ignoring you. I'm just answering a
Your
text
incident has been updated.
from another officer.
4444, I'll be clear reporting 7 minutes of that suspicious.
And sounds like Pat
Your
in
incident
true
has been updated.
Pat and cat form is on to the next caper. And so we're...
Your incident has been updated.
I'll see if I can find what he's got going there. And let's see.
Wait for everything now. Kevin, 15:37.
I have to go in my computer now.
40-90. Prosperity from Frost to Lumberner's clear. I'm checking the trails now. Yeah, the Prosperity's clear down to Larpenter.
Actually, I should click on report, and I'm a backup unit, so
137 case number.
to enter some of the other stuff.
Your incident has been updated.
I'm sure you keep even 8231 traffic.
I have to actually turn on the air conditioning in the car now.
One, you want to know from Michigan High School to 2215 Landbrick Avenue,
44 the motor vehicle. Vehicle is clear.
Yeah, that was the vehicle, the address, and it's clear.
So the black Cadillac we were looking for was just dumped. It sounds like in the city of Maplewood, and that's where Pat went, was to that. They recovered it unoccupied. Actually, I should say they're in the process of recovering it.
7733. 7733.
Can you put my current call back in pending, and I'll take 57 Tango's call everywhere.
All right, I'm glad people said it was getting a little hot in the back seat. I got a little sweat going under my vest here. That'll teach me to get out of the car and actually run. But all's well that ends well.
Reverse, let me clear break.
Charlie 1539. Okay.
You can cancel Carolina.
So they're out recovering that. Excuse me, that Cadillac. And so I'm going to head over to Central District for a little bit.
5034.
Assist fire 1331 West Larpenter. Vehicle white smoke from engine compartment, possibly overheating.
The funny part is where that car came out of onto Maryland is right where I told you that I was checking, because those are the areas where we get a lot of stolen cars dumped. And sure enough, St. Paul's following a stolen out of that area. Some of this...
4290.
It's not rocket science. Actually, it's probably a good thing it's not rocket science. But you know, we know where our prolific auto thieves live. We know the areas they like to frequent and where they dump cars and like to steal cars. And we can put patterns together once we see that, hey, they like to steal them from this area and dump them in that area. So it makes a big difference. All right, I'm being requested to go over to the Intel channel now, so let's see here if I can manage to do that while we're riding along here. .2007's on Intel.
Mike, we're curious, did you put that info over the air? Over LOP?
On the suspect?
The stolen Cadillac.
I just said it was being recovered.
We were curious to find out if you put it out over there and that's why they dumped it.
Oh, I did put it out on the air earlier, yes. But maybe they did dump it because they knew the backseaters were looking.
I agree. It's in a really weird place. They must have had a trailer car.
That's weird. Well, I'm going to need right now about 1,000 sets of handcuffs for the backseaters in case we get involved in another one. That St. Paul officer was running like a gazelle chasing that kid. Thank goodness he ran him behind the house and the kid cut back towards me.
Just as tight.
Alright, I'm going to go off of the Intel channel again. Alright. It's no offense to you backseaters, but we don't want the bad guys to be able to monitor sometimes when we're sneaking around. And we don't want them to learn.
Hey, Matt, you got the deed.
What the tactics are that we use. So we're on Jackson at Case going southbound on the central in the central district of St. Paul.
You notify the RO just so nobody else comes and tampers with it. Yeah, that's great. Thanks. All right, I'll stick with the vehicle.
So the beauty of stuff like this is when the St. Paul, can get on the air when they have a stolen vehicle or something like this. They can let us know because we're monitoring their channels, and we can come in and assist them in unmarked cars, sometimes in a way that it's hard to do in marked cars. Because they'll see it coming from 3 blocks away, 2 blocks away, and then they'll flee. Sometimes we can sneak up, and then a lot of times we get on the air because, only 1 or 2 of us are in the area, and St. Paul assists us. It's a great teamwork, and we have the same partnership with our other suburban agencies, and can't say enough about how important that communication and teamwork is.
24.
EOT.
Have a good night, 24.
We're on Rice Street now, northbound from Atwater. Looks like they've been doing some work to fill in some of the worst potholes here, which is good. A couple weeks ago when it snowed a lot and then rained hard, you almost needed a submarine to traverse Rice Street here to go through all the puddles.
Show me your name. Juvenile investigate Como and Marion stole vehicle. Echo Juliet Papa 880.
Como Volunteer 54.
Como and Marion.
Wondering what they're doing here at Lawson and Rice, between Lawson and Cook. There was a baseball field here, but it looks like they're digging a foundation for something. I wonder if they're putting apartments in or something. It was a baseball field that wasn't used very often, but it was fun to sit and watch the kids play every once in a while, and hopefully those kids have just moved to a better field. Baseball is a huge sport across the country, and it's not really as big, in my opinion, in Minnesota, but in St. Paul.
1200 Lakewood for a 71-year-old female having shortness of breath.
In St. Paul, there's a huge or a lengthy history of baseball and baseball stars coming out of here. My absolute favorite baseball player ever, Dave Winfield, is from the city of St. Paul, and his brother Steve actually works for us now. And Paul Molitor, is from the city of St. Paul. And who's that guy that played for the Twins? Jeez. I'm having a mental block. Cretin Durham Hall. Sorry. Ooh, can't believe I had that mental block. Joe Mauer played for Cretin Durham Hall and played for the Twins. And some tremendous players coming out of here right now. His brother Gus is pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers up in the big leagues. I know I'm going to get chastised for the people that I left out. But long history of baseball that in the city here, in the city of St. Paul.
They're reporting you sent it outside.
Copy. Make looks like there's a CVS 2196 plate figure on it. That says they had two parties come in and take some merchandise. They're not sure if they're still on scene or not. Yeah, 30s white male, blue hoodie. 30s white female with red hair, plaid shirt. They both were carrying bags and suitcases.
We're southbound on Dale at the Como Front Dale corner, the most confusing intersection.
Yeah, it'd be a theft, but then we recovered it.
In the city of St. Paul. Once when I was in the Minneapolis gang unit, we got in a chase in the middle of the night that came over here, and it ended up here on the corner, and I had no idea how to call out where I was. I had just no clue. I had to wait for the first St. Paul squad to come and tell us where we were. This is the kind of intersection where driving instructor, new student drivers, just to confuse them and show them that you have to pay attention to the signs.
47 for
We're in the Central District, Dale, Praha. I heard a call come out not too long ago for a vehicle that was driving dangerously over here, so I'm going to see if I can
278 Tango. Can I take
maybe
a case
find
number,
that
please?
vehicle if that's still
278
pending.
Tango, case number 067487.
Oh, okay, disregard. That's been taken care of.
067487.
It was actually someone who was having mechanical trouble.
Welcome 1553.
So last night I stayed up late to watch the Timberwolves game. They tried as hard as they could to lose, but they didn't. The Timberwolves ended up winning in overtime, and it always amazes me how a team can get way up in the score, and then it's like they relax and let the other team get back in it, and then they end up going into overtime. I think they were up by 12 with like 4 minutes left. Then they let the Nuggets get back into it. Then it goes into overtime. They're up by like 10, and then eventually are able to hold it, but made me a little nervous. The Wild lost, which, I was already a little cranky about that, to the Dallas Stars. Couple of power plays that Foligno penalties helped out the Stars, and we'll see. It'd be nice if the Wild could work their way into the next series, but it's going to be tough now. So one of the Timberwolves got a hand to the face and cut his eye, and
Give me a few more minutes and then I can...
At first I thought, he's overreacting, but it looked kind of nasty once they got him up. He was bleeding up there, so hopefully... I haven't read the paper today, so... I make it sound like I read the paper. I go online and look at the headlines in the paper, and I haven't seen how bad it was, but he might have needed stitches.
1556.
I did have to check though to make sure that I wasn't fired as the host of Mondays with Mighty Mike today, after I heard that there was bloodletting going on at all the cable networks. I figured, I better check and make sure all these hosts are being let go. Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson. And
Shoplifters are still on scene.
so, but fortunately, I still have a job.
So maybe they're going to be outside the front door. I'll be approaching. Nobody's really. Squad 107.
Go ahead.
Do you possibly have a torque too, ma'am?
You can't see it on the camera, but St. Paul's over here assisting a lady. It looks like her car broke down in the middle of the street over here, and they're pulled up with their lights on to keep anyone from running into her, and hopefully they can get a tow and get her out of the street. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but
Information for Central
the
regarding the
hold on.
reckless driver there, Marion Geranium. We're also now getting a call and tell us, sir, for a motor vehicle theft that occurred at 1040 with Marion on a blue Hyundai Sonata.
Plate for that was Alpha Hotel Uniform 102. Original driving complaint was described as a green or blue Hyundai Sonata.
So that was the car that I heard the original driving complaint. It's a stolen blue Hyundai Sonata.
For accidents of injuries on 35E.
So we will
trying to verify where exactly.
kind of circle back here to the area that we were just in. A blue Hyundai Sonata, and the plate will be coming out. So. All right, someone just texted me that Aaron Rodgers was traded to the Jets. Is that true? Number one. And number two, what did the Jets do to the Packers that caused them to punish them like that? I mean, Aaron Rodgers was great back in the day, but I just think he's lost a step. But that's me, the guy that can barely run down a driveway and help tackle a guy. Sounds like the plate is going to be Adam Henry Union 102. Able Hotel Uniform 102 for those of you military folks out there on this Hyundai that we're looking for. Blue Hyundai Sonata.
535. This is a 41, please. 1600. 539 advised.
You would think, or conventional wisdom, or common sense would tell you that if you stole a car, the first thing you do is get out of the neighborhood where you stole it.
Cars will take them. It looks like there's multiple injuries for multiple parties.
Hold on just a sec. I didn't hear
Bernie available towards your squad business.
83.
183, showing you around 35 in St. Clair.
179.
So there's a
head over.
serious accident on Interstate 35E that just occurred at St. Clair Avenue. So that's in the city of St. Paul. It's would be considered kind of the west side, south of downtown, and so they're looking for more squads to help with traffic control and down there. But we are a ways away and not really equipped for highway traffic stuff. We can do it, but
Williams over Cat team, and we're just gonna do swaps and then release it back to the owner. One thing is I'm not allowed swaps in my bag, so it's gonna try and find someone that has it to bring me some.
Yeah, just want to make sure you guys weren't going to knock on anything. Sounds good, thank you.
Negative. 5183, can you show me what happened?
so they're the cat guys are swabbing the stolen vehicle that was recovered, the black Cadillac, for DNA and fingerprints,
Property managers,
which is something we do now
so we got some
on
good stuff to follow up on, I guess.
every car we
But,
recover,
as far as not doing anything else tonight, we're not gonna do anymore.
unless we absolutely know, who was driving it, who stole it, and who was driving it. There's no real need for that. And it allows us to put together DNA profiles that are involved in multiple cases, and hopefully
Any of the DNA blood kits in your squads. I used up my last one, I think.
you see here.
Alpha Hotel Uniform 102 that was just taken from Wellstone Elementary. Information on 603.
I'm pulled over here, kind of looking at my computer.
Excellent. Just to give you a heads up, we are on the back road of the trailer park off of B2 adjacent to the soccer field. So you'll see my squad out there. And I appreciate it.
Kelly, Maryland and 35.
Me.
So I'm just over here in the area where the Hyundai Sonata was stolen from, looking for it or anything else. And CAT guys are split between recovering the black Cadillac and another car that they are recovering right now.
SWAT simple. I just need the one blocking on the 5 on the ramp. We will need one medic for
4446, squad 44.
So that's the on the accident on the highway is just giving direction to other squads about what she needs blocked off and what she needs from dispatch. And it cut off because I'm not in that district right now. But she's basically requesting an ambulance.
One 79.
What's up, me?
I'm at the main entrance.
Can't be covering the rear entrance 605.
So it's kind of cool last night watching the Timberwolves game. At halftime, they interviewed Caitlin Clark from the Iowa women's basketball team that played in the national championship, and it was kind of cool to see her up here visiting the Twin Cities. I'm not sure if she was up on business or pleasure, but my guess is now with this the name, image, and likeness endorsements that they can get, that she's probably got some good endorsements. So she might have been up here working for a company, doing some meet and greets or whatever. But it was just cool to see her, and Iowa sure got the Target Center rocking when they were up here playing in the Elite Eight. So we're on University Avenue. We're going eastbound towards the state capitol at McCubbin. Kind of get centrally located again in case something happens. It tends to help to be able to respond.
Motion on the phone, go ahead.
get close to the end. I think they finish up next month, so they're starting to try to bring together the bills from the House and Senate and see if they can find areas of agreement. And
9273.
I'd like to be optimistic that there's certain things that they can agree on around public safety and getting good intervention involved in the criminal justice system, and hopefully fund to reduce crime and carjacking, which are up right now. And I know there's a huge marijuana legalized recreational marijuana this year. I don't know if that'll happen, just be with all of the different committees and things it touches on, but it sounds like it's probably going to, which will obviously affect what we do and will adjust some of our tactics and for that. Just because they haven't decided what's going to be considered the legal of intoxication. There's no ability to measure that right now. It's and we won't be able to use burnt marijuana as probably likely anymore if it's legal. And there are just a whole bunch of issues that go into it, and I think it's eventually going to happen. It's just a matter of how it's going to be implemented. There's Colorado and Michigan who have legal marijuana. How they do it, we shall always do. The beauty of law enforcement is that it's constantly changing as society changes and as the laws change and case law and Supreme Court decisions are made that give us direction on.
At 2219 Ramsey Boulevard on a DOC. That's to say the couple females refusing
what we can and can't do. And everybody always throws their hands up and claims it's the end of the world on when things happen, and we always tend to adjust to those, and in the end our system becomes better, and there's case law that's developed out of those things, and it just further defines how we do our jobs, how the court system operates, and how we protect citizens in a way that preserves their civil rights and civil liberties. So,
using an interpreter for Spanish to get info here, so over the language barrier, but they're saying there's also a vehicle outside that's possibly involved.
We're by Regents Hospital here on the back, what I'd call the back side. It's probably the side of Regents Hospital and the Gillette Children's Hospital. You could maybe see up on the highway the backup in the traffic that's being caused by that accident downstream on 35E at St. Clair, not too far past downtown.
7257 Tango. The two parties are there trying to get one of the staff members' sons to come out.
Central Squad to break to assist medics 7th Street and St. Clair. Male caller saying he's suicidal.
Great. Now we have an individual right down in that same area threatening to jump off the bridge onto the highway. So that creates a whole nother layer to the complexity of that accident and that scene there. So I hope you see what it's like.
Mount, that second caller, the female caller, is at 2213 Mount Boulevard.
I'm driving around talking a lot, but there's squads literally going all over the city right now to help people, and going from call to call with other calls still pending. They'll rush. They'll go to a shooting or an assault. They'll help that person, get them to the hospital, write their report, rush to the next call, rush to the next call. From high priority call to high priority call, and then they respond to one of the pending calls that's been sitting and pending for an hour and a half because someone's house got burglarized. And the first thing the person will do is yell at them about why it took so long. And the officers have to remain professional and keep their composure. And I've been in that situation, and sometimes it's tough not to snap back at someone. But I remember going to a call, and the parents decided they wanted to have their baby at home, deliver their baby, and they hired a midwife. What they didn't know was that their midwife wasn't really qualified to be doing that. And the baby came out and wasn't breathing, and the midwife didn't know what to do and panicked. And we showed up at the call. Me and a couple other officers did CPR on the baby. The baby was dead. Probably by the time we got there. And it was a horrific scene. The parents were traumatized. The midwife was traumatized, and I'm sure felt guilty and traumatized because we all had kids. Left there, went back to the station just long enough to wash the blood off of my arms and hands, and went back into service. And I was a sergeant at the time, and took a call that had been pending and got yelled at for why did it take us so long to get here because someone broke the window on my car. And it's really hard at that time to not snap on the person, but you can't do it. And that's the beauty of people that can be good cops is to walk that fine line. And we all make mistakes. There's times when, we talk back to people or we say something we shouldn't. And I've had a few times in my career where I've had to apologize to someone tell them, hey, sorry, but, you know, you caught me off guard. I shouldn't have talked to you that way or whatever. Even if they were wrong, we have to maintain our professionalism, and they have to have trust and be willing to call us when they need us. So on Payne at Magnolia. I'll pull over here for just a second so that I can look at some of the calls.
Eight 816.
816.
Can you have a west lost go to channel 4 for me, please?
407.
I'm in roll call. I'm going to 4. I can start for 1855 Suburban and Temple Fresh with the fire department checking slumpers.
Squad 375, just give us 2 minutes. We're putting comments in our call and we can get them out.
So there, that squad was just dispatched to slumpers in a vehicle outside of a laundromat. We're pretty far off, but I'll head that way. They call it slumpers, people who fall asleep in their car, they're drunk. Sadly, it's sometimes an overdose, and the people are overdosing, and when that occurs, then we will often administer Narcan. Naloxone is the official name, I think. But I had an idea, so maybe the backseaters can help me with this idea.
Doing well, thank you.
On Saturday night, I saw a
Talking to the realtor.
young lady in her 20s that was extremely intoxicated and couldn't walk. And then she eventually passed out, and we had to call an ambulance for her because we couldn't keep her awake and whatnot. And I was thinking, you know, like we have Narcan for narcotics, and you give them the Narcan. Sometimes it takes a couple doses, and they wake up like
138 with Wisconsin.
Like Lazarus.
Romeo uniform.
And I was thinking, why can't we do that with alcohol, where you give them something and all of a sudden they're sober? So if anyone knows how to do that, you let me know, and we'll make a lot of money off that idea. We'll call it Alcan. But
495.
a lot of times when we save people from overdosing using the Narcan, they're mad at us because it kills their buzz.
577.
They're not so worried about dying, but
Welfare check. Comp hasn't seen or heard from her son.
they're mad that we took away their high.
That's the first thing. 6 foot average. Call comp with results. 1622.
I remember the first time I saw Narcan used was probably in the mid-90s. I saw a paramedic use it on someone who was overdosing on heroin, and the guy was literally dead. I mean, he wasn't breathing. He was pale and clammy, and I mean, no, very, very weak pulse, and they used that Narcan on him, and after about 30 seconds, the guy sat up straight, and I thought, holy cow. But here's the problem now is the potency of the fentanyl that people are using now. Oftentimes, we have to use multiple doses of Narcan, and sometimes that's only temporary, and just brings them back long enough for the ambulance to load them up and give them more and get them to the hospital. So we're gonna head over to the suburban.
Copy, I'm familiar. All advice. 5185 clear. Other squad, go ahead.
We probably won't make it. Other squads get there.
Not a problem, 1624.
License for ABD. City of accident, no injuries, block the traffic. 1625.
Bound on Maryland, and why once we get a little south to suburban. Southbound on White Bear, crossing over the railroad tracks down to Ames and Case, that area.
This way will tell the Wadi of 901 now happening for a DOC. Teal has the Peters Bay and is refusing to leave. It's going to be Melissa Schultz, white female, 36-year-old, 5'3", average girl, has a black jacket and white t-shirt.
179 copy.
1620.
Alright, I wonder if I'm not hearing, but it looks like that call's been cleared up down here. So maybe the people woke up and drove off. And they canceled it, but we'll see.
Brother 2265. 2265. 2263. 2363. 2363. 2363 and 2365. 975 Pioneer E Echo East target. Comp was shopping one wallet and phone were stolen from the car 10 minutes ago. She has a tracker on her phone. She comp was in the store. Blue sweatshirt jeans. 6 copy.
So that person called from Walmart saying that their phone and wallet were stolen from their cart, and but she has a tracker on her phone. That's those trackers nowadays are our best friend.
44.
Allow us to track stolen property.
Send you a message. Phone call in reference to that.
Looks like it's target action. There's target. Do not still a main of cars. We have to leave in the car or the key fob in the car. Don't do that. It's makes them so easy to steal. And it makes it a lot harder for us to prove the elements of the crime, that they knew a vehicle was stolen if they're in it and they have the keys or they have the key fob. They could say, hey, I don't know where it came from, but my friend lent me this car. And it's very hard to disprove.
$40.
439.
So we're on Suburban here, going westbound from White Bear.
A 75-year-old who had called into Walgreens pharmacy and left a voicemail saying she was unable to walk. Medics are on scene there now. They're just not getting any answers.
Checking a car that I saw come this way, but now it looks fine. So I'm going to go back the other way.
That's 1630.
4502.
4502.
Can you put myself in 4504 and BCN at 2565 IV Avenue East?
So, more questions or something like that, then they'll just say PCN, because then it doesn't, they realize it's not another new incident for statistical purposes and a lot of other reasons.
I'll go with.
car is gone from the laundromat now.
$52.85. $52.85.
Oh, yeah, just from home.
So we're on the east side of St. Paul here in Ramsey County, state of Minnesota, and I'm Undersheriff Mike Martin, and we're out live on patrol. We do this 3 days a week. Mondays with me, Mondays with Mike. Wednesdays is our Young and the Selfless, which is the CAT team and sometimes intel folks, the younger deputies who are out working their booties off every day. And Friday nights is Bob and Pat live at 9/11, and Nicole at midnight. And on any of those days you might see various other characters. So I like to make it out on Friday nights when I can. And Wednesday afternoons with the younger troops. Sometimes they need me there to be their spiritual leader. Not true, but it gives me an excuse to get out of being in my office doing paperwork and payroll and stats and stuff like that.
Paper. $51.85 clubs ready. That was $51.85.
Those of you who have been backseaters for a long time, and that's what we refer to you because you ride in the back seats of our squad cars. Know that Sheriff Bob Fletcher is the guy who started this all, and his longtime partner at the city of St. Paul, and now over here, Deputy Pat Scott, is his counterpart, who and they love to ride around together and tell stories and do police work and interact with the public and hopefully educate people about what we do, what we're about, how we think, and we oftentimes will discuss whatever's current affairs and give opinions on those.
SWAT 523. 523. The suspect just took off northbound. 10-2 northbound Jackson.
So,
Medics. 11th and Jackson. He just has an accident.
So fled from her 11th and Jackson, and then got in an accident.
523. Looks like he went.
And we are very far away.
Northbound. Jackson on the full. Should have pretty heavy rear end damage.
So I don't know what the original call was because I wasn't paying attention, but I can look it up here when I stop at this stop sign.
Mississippi and Union, I'm on the lookout for it.
It was a male slumped over in the driver's seat of a vehicle, probably intoxicated or overdosing, and then when they went there to check on him, he took off in the car and caused an accident. So now he's fleeing the scene of an accident, and sounds like the first officer stopped to assist the person in the car that he struck.
Support with bus central state and
so we'll kind of head over that way, even though we're a ways away and we're going to get stuck in rush hour traffic. We might as well.
Anybody at large right now?
But Maplewood's around some lower after midnight. Callers saying that people were shooting at them around foot. Nothing further.
Well, we are much closer to Lower Afton and McKnight, where people are saying that others are shooting at them. So we're going to go there instead. So I'm going to switch channels here.
Yeah, 4450, just looking through here for you. So a lot of 911 hang-ups from this phone number. There's a previous SIP call from mid-March. I'm going to have to read through the comments here. It was cleared unfounded.
It sounds like there's a history of maybe fake calls from that phone that called in that people were shooting at them, but we'll head towards that area and until it's determined that it's unfounded. City of St. Paul. And is at lower and upper Afton, Ruth, and I'm going to cut over.
Currently dealing with call bikes and call bikes.
4446, are there any multiple calls coming in the area?
Negative on both sides, same line with no other calls.
So there's no other calls coming in on the shots fired at McKnight and Lower Afton. That's generally a sign that it's a fake call.
And just as info here, looking into this SIP call from earlier, the caller on it that was from the same phone number was just a passerby. Info was good info. It just cleared up down and she was just crying for another reason.
So we'll head that way, but generally if there are actually shots fired in a public area like that, there's going to be multiple callers. So now we're on McKnight at Berlin, and we're going to head down here a few blocks to Lower Afton, down where the stoplight is down there.
Squad 17 under EOT, squad 130 Tango.
What up, 130?
4450 is some additional info. I'm looking at one of the 911 hangups. It was from April 20th. Looks like PD responded. There was a female that just kept calling and saying, please help, and that there was someone there with a firearm. It looks like PD made contact with her at a bus station near Lower Afton at that time, but she was uncooperative, but they did confirm she was the caller on it from that phone number.
So it's looking pretty much like business as usual here in the area. I'm not seeing anybody who seems concerned, and
147.
obviously not seeing anybody who's shooting a gun. It's a pretty busy intersection to where nobody would have heard it. Just people walking their dogs. So I'm thinking this is gonna be a unfounded call.
353. 353. 358. 358. Everybody else.
There's kids over here playing.
There's a 911 hangup at Homestead Senior Care, 2480 White Bear.
Just not seeing anything that would lead me to believe there were actually shots.
$69.23 in Cromwell.
Copy 62944 Cromwell for a DOC 646.
So not seeing a victim or anything going on.
The same phone number called back gave pretty much the same info that him and his friends were getting shot at and hung up again. This time it looks like he was a little further south on McKnight, just right in between London Lane and Lower Afton.
Copy.
16 person.
Yeah, I didn't see anything down there, so I'm gonna
Right towards the DOC.
leave the area.
Unit 1108.
Again, we would be getting multiple calls from people there if there were actually shots fired. But there comes some squads that will hopefully make contact with the caller and resolve that one.
Anyone else on channel 2 for 1700?
But what is an unusual city in that very spread out, more north and south than east and west, and so the squads you see arriving in the area who were dispatched are probably coming from the northern part of the city.
I have 2 males running north from London on the McKnight. They're not stopping. Copy. 10-1 for Maplewood. Figure out what's going on here. 2 males now running north McKnight from London.
46 on 4.
I'm gonna head back down there. I'm guessing it's those two kids that made the call that we saw before. They're now running from the officers.
4450 arriving.
Yeah, 4444, yeah, clothing descriptions on the two running.
163.
Go ahead.
1579 Sylvia. Correct.
Quad 6183.
Okay, right. Yeah, clothing descriptions of the two, or out with them now. Go. Yeah, well, they're gonna do that.
446 today.
2 days. 1650.
Dude, these guys are full of shit. I'm just gonna hop out and talk to them quick and see if they need anything.
Anyone else standing, or are you guys code 4 can clear the air?
I believe in code 4 you can probably clear the air.
Okay, that 2 stained, code 4, canceling the 10-1-16.
Your incident has been updated.
$92.73. Listed as an APD at Sam's Club, 1850 Berkeley. It occurred in the parking lot. Caller said a vehicle was parked next to him. Opened their door into the caller's vehicle and they won't exchange info.
Copy.
1652.
Just put a car at free. 108 Big Circle Drive for assist medics. 18-year-old female having suicidal thoughts and damaging walls, intending suicide, possibly violent, no weapon.
2365 copy. 2361, can I go past me? $50.35. $52.85. Juvenile return home using clear assist. Step late.
Alrighty, well, it sounds like these young men have a cell phone that's a 911 only cell phone, which isn't unusual. Rookie mistake.
Your incident has been updated.
So these young men that were walking up the path there, one of them had a 911 only cell phone on him, and apparently they were making the fake calls into the police. And so nobody was shot. There weren't any shots fired. I think they just wanted to see the cops coming, and they will now be charged with making false police report and misuse of the 911 system. And obviously it's a waste of all of our resources. Somebody said spank them. First of all, they won't let us. Second of all, my hands are clean right now. And third of all, that's the problem, is they didn't get enough of that probably as children. So I can't even imagine what would have happened to me had the police brought me home to my parents and my parents found out about that I was doing something like this. It would not have gone well for me. So anyway, fortunately, as I thought, nobody was actually hurt. When they called back the second time, the dispatcher was able to track where the phone was on a map. So they were able to put them right there where we had seen them, and I explained to the officers that we had seen them. But great work by Maplewood PD getting there. Apparently I have an incident. Oh. So, although I didn't do much, I'll give myself a close it by advised assisted.
At Walgreens at 1700 Rice on a slumper. Blue vehicle.
For something happy to market in midnight.
Nate and I come here as well. 16.
$52.85, $51.85. $51.85. $52.85. 2020 North Snelling, number 113. Prompt call back as soon as PD left. The juvie took off. Samira Olson left on the service road towards Infinity Bank. $50.85. $50.95 Southeast area. 1657. 40 clearest western 40.
So I'm getting on 94, headed westbound back towards the city of St. Paul. If I drove straight past St. Paul, I'd end up in the city of Minneapolis once we cross the Mississippi River, which, by the way, is peaking at record levels right now. We had record snowfall in Minnesota this year, and that snow runs off into the rivers, and depending on how fast the ground thaws, it can create flooding in the rivers. So we are seeing issues with flooding in downtown St. Paul and Harriet Island and Raspberry Island, as well as along Warner Road and Shepherd Road, and then I know I believe believe it's the Crow River in Delano is flooded out. One of the main bridges there, and the Red River is starting to build up in the northwestern part of the state, up by Alexandria, Moorhead, Fargo, that area, which tends to have a lot of problems when the snow melts. But we have some tremendous emergency management professionals in Ramsey County, St. Paul, and state of Minnesota. We have Judd Freed as the emergency manager for Ramsey County, and I know was met yesterday with Mayor Carter, Governor Walz, Senator Klobuchar, and County Commissioner Trista Mattis Castillo, and trying to remember people I saw in a picture yesterday of them out at the scene. They were out looking at the river and being briefed by Judd Freed, and just a tremendous asset to the county to have someone like Judd who does the emergency planning and preparedness for us.
5285, 5285. She's on a available right now.
And Judd, I'm pretty sure that means you, because I talk good about you, you gotta buy me lunch or something.
5285, copy.
So we're coming back into
a white Honda Savannah
the city of St. Paul.
Breaking into their house. They just ran him off. Should be a black male with a black trench coat walking southbound on T. Should be across from the cafe, approaching Tedesco.
Darn it. I couldn't be much closer to that call. However, it's up the hill and off the highway. I can't get there quickly.
Very far. I had eyes on him, but I'm with the victim. I'm not following anymore. He's continued to walk southbound on Payne. Was with another individual with a backpack.
63379.
These males tried to break into a house and got interrupted by the victim, and who flagged down a squad who can see him now. But I'm not going to be able to get there in a timely fashion. Someone else will beat me there.
Agree, somebody call back in Penny. Come here, agree, first call.
Last unit, Stone Service, 1459. Bravo, 371.
So we're northbound now on 35E.
How much news for a suspect description that's not already in the call?
33. With the trench coat, and that's in the Philippines.
I-35 runs all the way from Duluth in northern Minnesota all the way down to the southern border in Texas, and when it hits Minneapolis, or I'm sorry, when it hits the southern suburbs of Minneapolis and St. Paul, it splits into I-35W or west and I-35E for east, and then it rejoins above the Twin Cities in Forest Lake, or yeah, Forest Lake area, Lino Lakes area. Going to call it a day. Don't forget to set your Facebook so that you get notifications when Live on Patrol is live again, which will be on Wednesday with the younger guys, and then again on Friday night with Bob and Pat and Nicole. So thanks for having me, and everybody have a